They say that a secret is like a pregnancy. No matter how much you tie your stomach, the world will eventually see the truth. In the quiet city of Buea, the morning sun did not bring peace, it brought fear. While Ekenna was outside trying to convince the village elders that his heart was as clean as a new whistle, Eposi was standing in the guest room staring at his travel bag. Her mother's words were ringing in her ears like a church bell. They used the souls of wives for money rituals. With a trembling hand, Eposi reached for the zipper. Shh! The sound felt like a scream in the silent room. As the bag opened, a small red cloth bundle tied with black thread rolled out onto the floor. Eposi froze. Her breath caught in her throat. It was exactly what the stories described, a juju charm used by those who seek wealth through darkness. Chai! Is this the business he was talking about on the phone? Is this the reason he was pleading for mercy and more time? Suddenly, the door creaked open. It wasn't Ekenna. It was Auntie Rose, leaning against the doorframe with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Now you must know Auntie Rose. She is the kind of woman who will give you water with one hand and set your house on fire with the other. She looked at the red bundle on the floor and let out a loud dramatic gasp, the kind of gasp that is meant to be heard by everyone in the compound. Eposi, my daughter, what is this? Is this the love your Nigerian man brought from Lagos? Auntie Rose rushed to the window, shouting for Mami Hannah to come and see the abomination. Her behavior was enough to make anyone's blood boil. She was acting as if she were heartbroken for Eposi, but if you looked closely, you could see the spark of joy in her eyes. She had been waiting for this moment. You see, Rose's own daughter had been dumped by a suitor months ago, and she couldn't stand the thought of Eposi moving to a big mansion in Nigeria while her own child remained in the village washing cloths by the stream. To understand why Mami Hannah was so bitter, we must look back to 3 days before Ekenna arrived. Auntie Rose had visited Mami Hannah under the big mango tree. She had brought a bottle of special palm wine and a hat full of lies. "Hannah, my sister," Rose had whispered, leaning in close so the wind couldn't carry her words. "I saw a vision. A man with a red bag is coming for your daughter. He is not a man, he is a collector of spirits. If you let him take her, your family name will be wiped from the Bakosi land." She fed Mami Hannah's fear until it grew into a monster. Back in the room, Mami Hannah burst through the door, clutching her chest. When she saw the red bundle, she fell to her knees. "The ritualist, the criminal has entered my house," she wailed. Outside, the elders heard the noise and began to grumble. Ekenna, who heard the commotion, rushed into the room. He saw his bag open, the red bundle exposed, and 3 pairs of eyes looking at him as if he were a ghost. He reached out to pick it up, but Mami Hannah slapped his hand away. "Do not touch it with your blood-stained fingers," she screamed. Ekenna stood back, his face turning from shock to a deep, painful sadness. "Mami, it is not what you think," he pleaded. "This is from my mother. I have a sickness in my stomach, an ulcer that bites me like a lion. This is just a herbal mixture she prepared for me to drink every morning." But Auntie Rose laughed, a sharp, annoying sound. "Herbal mixture? Since when did herbs start wearing red clothes and black thread? You Nigerians think we are fools. You think because we are from a small village, we don't know the tools of a Yahoo boy or a money man." The tension in the room was thick, you could cut it with a cutlass. Eposi looked at the man she loved and the juju on the floor. She wanted to believe Ekenna. She wanted to believe that the man who quoted the Bible and sang her love songs wouldn't hurt a fly. But the evidence was staring at her. And then, the subject of our story made a choice. She picked up the red bundle and held it up to Ekenna's face. "If this is medicine," she challenged, her voice cracking, "then open it. Open it right now and show us what is inside." Ekenna's hands began to shake. He looked at Auntie Rose, then at Mami Hannah, and finally at Eposi. "I cannot open it yet," he whispered. It must stay sealed until the moon is high or the power of the herbs will vanish. Please, Eposi, trust me for just a few more hours. Chai, that was the wrong thing to say. Mami Hannah let out a scream of Jesu, and Auntie Rose began to clap her hands in a mocking rhythm. You see, he is waiting for the moon. He is waiting for the time of the spirits. By now, a crowd had gathered at the window. The news had spread like a bushfire in the dry season. The Nigerian has been caught with his ritual bag. The Bakosi youth began to gather at the gate, some of them holding sticks. They didn't need proof, they only needed a reason to vent their frustration. In their eyes, Ekenna wasn't just a man, he was a symbol of everything they believed was wrong with those people from across the border. The bias was no longer a whisper, it was a roar. Ekenna realized that the situation was spinning out of control. He looked at his phone, the same phone that had received the threatening text, and he saw a new message. His face went pale. He didn't say a word to Eposi. He simply turned around and walked out of the house. Pushing past the crowd, he headed straight for his car, ignored the shouts of criminal and ritualist, and drove out of the compound at a dangerous speed. He was fleeing, but was he fleeing from the truth or fleeing to save his life? Mami Hannah sat on the floor weeping as if someone had died. Auntie Rose sat next to her, patting her back while secretly smirking at the camera. Don't cry, Hannah. God has saved your daughter from the lion's den. We must go to the church and offer a sacrifice of thanks. She looked at Eposi, who was standing still as a statue, still clutching the red bundle. Rose's plan was working perfectly. She had dismantled the marriage before the first drum could be beaten. But the subject of our story was not convinced. Eposi looked at the red bundle in her hand. If Ekenna was a ritualist, why did he look so heartbroken instead of angry? And why did Auntie Rose seem so happy about her best friend's tragedy? Eposi walked to the back of the house, away from the noise, and sat under the same mango tree where the bad advice was first given. She decided she wasn't going to wait for the moon. She was going to find out what was in this bag, even if it cost her her soul. As the evening shadows grew long, a strange man was seen lurking near the bushes at the edge of the village. He wasn't Nigerian and he wasn't Bakosi. He was wearing a dark jacket and holding a photo of Ekenna. He asked a passerby, "Where is the man with the Lagos car? He owes my boss something very precious and we have come to collect it." The plot was thickening like cold ogbono soup, and the danger was no longer a rumor, it was standing at the village gate. The air in Buea was cold, but the drama was boiling over. Was Ekenna really a ritualist, or was he being haunted by someone even more dangerous? And what part does Auntie Rose truly play in this web of lies? You are not ready for what happens next, because the truth is crazier than any rumor you have ever heard. Stay tuned because the suspense is just getting started. Eposi is about to pull the thread that unravels everything. Will she find herbs, or will she find a secret that will change her life forever? Don't move an inch, because episode 3, Blood and Business, is coming up very soon. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss the moment the truth explodes.